So this morning I'm here again. I'm not here very often. I'm here to teach advocacy and I like teaching advocacy. I've got my coffee, so I'm ready to go. Although it is in a Middle Temple mug. And I'm not with Middle Temple, I'm with Inner Temple. So I feel like a little bit of a traitor, but nonetheless it's got coffee, so I'm all good. And for those of you curious about training to be a barrister, this is literally where it happens. We have a setup here as though you're a barrister, a witness box if you are the witness, and of course me playing the role of a judge whilst giving feedback on the advocacy skills. But the problem I want to talk to you about today is nothing to do with where I am and what I'm doing. The problem I want to talk to you about today is getting here, because you see, normally I get the train because it's less stressful, it's normally more predictable because there's not traffic. But today I need to go to the Chinese supermarket to pick up some extra bits that we need, which we don't have. But here's the problem. You see, on the drive here, some van drivers don't understand how lanes work, so I'm going to do a little teaching session here, not on advocacy, but on how to use lanes. So if these van drivers are watching, you can learn something. Now, I'm definitely not an artist, but you'll get the picture, and I've done this diagram before. So we have the side of the road here, the other side of the road over here, and we have a couple of lanes here. So here's one lane, here's another lane, and only the problem is, these two lanes here, we have an arrow to point into this portion here, because this then becomes one lane, because actually this bit here narrows. So we end up with two lanes here, whereas we had three here. So naturally, you've all guessed the conflict is at this point here, because if you have cars coming up at this point here and you've got a van here, van doesn't realize that if the car which is here, actually he should allow into this lane here, because this is a zip merge. So these queue of cars should merge at this point here. You don't have one big long line of traffic all the way down here and this lane empty. That is not how it's supposed to work. This is how it is supposed to work, and this is what it says in the highway code. At this point here, if you are this van here, you should be looking for vehicles that are moving into this lane and not, as this van driver did this morning, accelerate and push to the point where the vehicle here is almost about to collide here. If there's a collision there, I've got front-facing and rear-facing cameras, which will show the whole scene as to exactly what happened. So what's the resolution to all this? There's a simple resolution to all this, and that is just driving with due care and consideration for other road users. Sounds familiar, doesn't it? It might sound a little bit like an offence that some people commit, which is driving without due care and consideration for other road users. That's right. This whole scenario played out here can be avoided if drivers simply have a little bit of care and consideration for each other when driving on the roads. Because if this went to court because of a collision and they disputed, not that there was a collision, of course, there wasn't, but if there were, guess what my argument's going to be? I'm going to bring up the highway code and all of the driving regulations and say, hold on a minute. This driver was driving without due care and consideration for other road users, and I'll produce that diagram there. So hopefully that clears up the situation and a debate that lots of people have as to who has priority in this situation. The technical answer is no one has priority, but you do have to drive with care and consideration to other road users and obey the road markings and drive in accordance with the lanes, which in this case, it says merge in turn. So I hope that was a little conflict resolution for you today. I hope that was useful. Please like the video, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.